got a fun video today. I want to talk about my March TBR, which I'm building around something very specific. I want a great reading month, so I have big plans for that. And I also just want to show you some stuff. I have like a huge stack over here of stuff that I want to show you. It feels like show and tell, which is so fun. Why don't we get to do show and tell as adults? Honestly, I feel like that's kind of what creating a YouTube channel is about. It's just the urge to do show and tell. Look at my things. Look at the stuff I want to show you. So here's my stack for show and tell. I did want to show you up close the book that I got from the book truck. So what you saw at the beginning of the video, my childhood friend, college roommate has started this really cute like bookmobile book truck in our city. And it was her first event yesterday. So of course I had to go and support and find a book. It was kind of funny. We were laughing because most of the stuff she had, I had already read, but I did manage to find a book that sounded interesting I hadn't read yet. So I ended up getting How to Solve Your Own Murder by Kristen Perrin, which based on the cover seems like a little bit of a cozy mystery, which is not my necessary go-to genre. People have said it's charming, a fun whodunit, kind of maybe like Agatha Christie. Hopefully I'll read it soon because again, I'm trying to not add stuff to the physical TBR, but I really wanted to support my friend. This is her cutie little logo. So fun. Oh, oops. Boro Books is the name of her truck. If you're in Central North Carolina, you should definitely visit or follow her on Instagram. Do you see? So you can follow along. And I also got this cutie little sticker, Forever Chasing the High of the Scholastic Book Fair. Nothing could be more true. I didn't even always get anything at the book fair because we didn't have a lot of money, but just, gosh, the day when you would go into the library, it would be all set up and you could just browse and look through things. That was the best day. I have been a bookstore and books loving girly since day one. The main plan for today is to talk about my March TBR. So I've mentioned this a few times before, but I do set TBRs each month and I usually do themed TBRs. So I pick a theme and then I build all of the books around that. Sometimes they're pretty loose or vague. Like in January, my theme was to just kickstart the year's goals and also to clean out all of the Libby holes that I had languishing. So that's obviously pretty vague and open. But in the past, I've done themes based around travel. If I was going somewhere specific. In February, I did a reading for Black History Month theme. Hopefully I have a wrap-up video coming out. We'll see how work goes and if I actually have time to film and edit that. But I read some really good books in February that I definitely want to tell y'all about. So in March, I have decided to build a TBR around reading books by previous 5-star authors, meaning I've read at least one book previously by an author that was a 5-star read, and now I'm going to read another book by them. So this is going to be a stacked TBR. Like I'm anticipating maybe one of my best reading months ever, at least as far as the ratings, because it seems to follow, like if I loved this author's writing and work before, I'll love it again. That's the hope. I've looked through my lists, my like 26 and 26, as well as my physical TBR, kind of thought about some authors that I'm really anxious to read again and created what I think is a pretty killer list. We're going to journal number 1. I have 3 journals here that I'm going to be showing you. I will explain. But we're going to start in my 2026 reading journal because I have my March TBR. It's a really cute little spread, actually. Don't know. Hopefully that's in frame. I had a lot of fun making it. This is a little unusual for me. I would say it's a little bit preppy. This may not look preppy to you. To me, it does. Something I think about like the blue with the stars and the little bit of the gingham that I did. It's a bit of a different look for me, but I think it's cute. I'm going to read the list off of here. I'll show you or tell you about the book that I've added to this TBR, tell you a little bit about the books I've read previously by the same author that are 5 stars, and that's where these journals come in, show you the entry that I made for those previous 5-star reads in my 5-star journal. I hope that makes sense. It makes sense in my brain. So to explain my kind of little journal stack I have here, this is my like 2026 reading journal. This is where I'm tracking my stats and TBRs and challenges for 2026. But I don't do the type of reading journal some people do where I do a page or a spread for every book that I read. I don't have the patience for that. And if I didn't like a book, I don't want to create a journal spread about it. These journals, which I actually started several years back and date all the way back to 2017 or my 2017 5-star reads, I do an entry for every 5-star read that I've ever had. So I started this journal several years ago before I really How should I explain? I feel like my early entries aren't very good. I'll show you some examples. I just was having fun and really, didn't have a ton of ideas. I hadn't watched a lot of journaling videos and stuff yet like I have now. So a lot of these early entries I look back and they're cute. Like I used colorful pins that matched the book covers and some fun stickers and stuff. But I definitely, like if you look at the end of the journal, my style has definitely evolved. But I am going to just maybe pop in, show you some of the entries if I have them. Some of them from, last year I haven't caught up to yet. But I just wanted to show you a little bit of that. This is one of my super fun creative projects that I absolutely just love to do. I used to love like scrapbooking and stuff, doing stuff with stickers and markers and stuff as a little girl. And then I felt like for a long time, I wasn't really creating anything. I am a musician, but to me, that's kind of work. It's a little separate from like hobby creating just for fun. And so these journals are definitely that outlet for me. So I have picked out 10 books for this TBR, and 4 of them actually are from my 26 and 26 list. I just want to keep really staying on that list. I don't want to find myself behind in the back half of the year and scrambling to catch up. The first book is The Singer's Gun by Emily St. John Mandel. If I'm going to be honest, I don't know what this book is about. All I needed to know was Emily St. John Mandel. I consider her one of my favorite writers. I just absolutely love her style. She writes these books that are kind of puzzly. Like she writes them in non-chronological, huge like jumps around in time and in POV and in characters. And every book I've ever read from her at the beginning, you're just thinking, what is happening? Like what is going on right now? But the way that she slowly weaves her plots and her stories together is amazing. Her writing is really literary. She usually has a sort of science fiction element to her books. So my previous 5 stars, I actually don't think I've ever read anything by her under a 4. I love everything I've ever read by her. But my previous 5 stars from her are Station 11, obviously, like probably her most popular book, Sea of Tranquility, and The Lola Quartet. I'm very, very excited to read another book. Actually, I have 2 books from her on my 26 and 26 because she has a new book coming out later in the year, Exit Party, and she has said that one of the characters in Exit Party is going to be kind of tied to The Singer's Gun, so I'm especially glad that I have this one on the list. Another author, a favorite author of mine, who we just found out has a new book coming out in October. I'm so excited. It didn't make it on my 26 and 26 because we just found out that the book is coming out this year. It is my lady, my queen, Barbara Kingsolver. I'm almost positive I talk about her every single video. So if you've been here for 5 seconds, then you have heard me talk about her before. She is one of my favorite writers. She writes the most gorgeous stories about humans and nature and how the two intersect. I consider her books in 3 categories. She has her Arizona/Southwest books. She has her Appalachian books set in the Appalachian Mountains. And then she has her books that kind of go out of the country. The Poisonwood Bible or The Lacuna are both set largely outside of the US. Flight Behavior is one of her Appalachian books. Those tend to be my favorite of hers because I am from the Appalachian Mountains, so it always feels like she's just writing about home. And this one I think specifically tackles climate change. Most of her books discuss climate change or nature pretty directly, but I think this one, like, that is the central plot of the book. I have almost too many 5 stars to name. From her, The Poisonwood Bible I read so long ago, I don't even have an entry for it in the journal. Animal Vegetable Miracle is one of my favorite books like ever. Prodigal Summer I just read last year, so I don't have an entry. Animal Dreams, again, she's one of my favorite authors, so I just feel like this is going to be a guaranteed win. Speaking of favorite authors, I do have several rereads on my 26 and 26 list, and I really want to reread Pride and Prejudice this year. I read this book so long ago that I don't even know what I would rate it. I mean, I know I love the book, but I can't say, oh yeah, this was a 5 star. I'm excited to read it again. For the sake of the month's TBR, I'm basing this more on Emma by Jane Austen as a 5 star read for me. I have read everything Jane Austen's ever written. I want to start going back and rereading. So I reread Emma last year. I want to do Pride and Prejudice this year. I hardly think I need to tell you what Pride and Prejudice is about. It's been so long since I read this. I consider Emma my top read for Jane Austen, so I'm kind of intrigued to see if this could top it. The last book from my 26 and 26 I don't actually have because it is not released yet. It is book 10 in the Veronica Speedwell series by Deanna Raybourn. I believe it's called A Ghastly Catastrophe. Every single one of the books in the series has a similar name construction. It's like a adverb noun. Sometimes I'm like, wait, what is this one called? So I'm gonna have to check actually. Yeah, so the book from this series that I would consider a 5-star is the fourth book, A Dangerous Collaboration. But again, this is one of my favorite series. It's a historical mystery series. We have Veronica Speedwell, our protagonist, who's like a very spunky feminist woman. I believe it's set in the earlier to mid 1800s. She partners up in her investigations and eventually romantically with this very swashbuckling man named Stoker. And their vibe, their banter, their relationship is amazing. The mysteries are well written. I adore this series. I also gave 5 stars to one of Deanna Raybourn's other books in a series, Killers of a Certain Age. That is also so much fun. So I just consider her, again, a favorite writer. I just kind of love everything that she touches. So you've definitely seen some of my older journal entries at this point. So I wanted to show you a newer one and actually kind of do one along with you. I'm going to do a spread for one of my favorite books of last year, which was Sonnets from the Portuguese by Elizabeth Barrett Browning. I'm putting another Elizabeth Barrett Browning on my March TBR, Aurora Lee, which is still poetry, but it's actually a novel in verse. It's a novel-length poem about this protagonist, Aurora, and from what I understand, it's kind of a feminist growing up story of this young woman in the Victorian era. I'm really, really excited to read more from Browning. I'm gonna give you a break from me yapping for a little bit. Maybe just go to some nice music, some nice journal footage. I tried to do a top-down setup this time. Marginally successful, still not the best, but deal with me. It just kind of cut out in the middle, so you missed a little bit of the end, but it was mostly just me writing and finishing up the page. So hope you enjoy a little journaling interlude. Welcome back. Editing magic. Hope you enjoyed. Natural transition from poetry. Let's talk about nonfiction. I have 2 nonfiction going on the TBR this month. One is Reflections on the Psalms by C.S. Lewis. I love C.S. Lewis's writing. Obviously, like Chronicles of Narnia is a childhood favorite, but I've also read Mere Christianity and Screwtape Letters by him and just absolutely adored them. So this book is, as it sounds, C.S. Lewis's reflections on the Psalms, the book of the Bible. And so I think this would be really fun to read in conjunction with my morning devotions. I'm going to include a little bit of this while I read. I guess it would make sense to read the Psalms. I'll really slowly make my way through this book over the course of the month. It's not long, but I'll probably read just a few pages each morning. The other nonfiction pick that I have is Listen to This by Alex Ross. Alex Ross has written 2 of my favorite books about classical music, Wagnerism and The Rest is Noise. Those books were both really super chunky, comprehensive works about specific topics in classical music. This one is a collection of essays. Alex Ross is a music writer, music critic at The New Yorker. So this is a collection of essays that he's written at The New Yorker. It will be different in nature from the other works that I've loved by him, but I know that I love and trust his writing. I love the way he writes about music and the way that he connects it to politics and world events and history. So I feel pretty good that I'm going to really enjoy this one as well. For the last grouping, these are books that I do not own physically. One is Angels of the Resistance by Noel Salazar. I actually have an advanced reader copy of this book, an ARC, through NetGalley. It's funny to say that because this book literally came out in 2022. So it's not a new release. It has been out for many years, and I think she's released 1, if not 2 more books since then, trying to catch up. I loved Salazar's book, The Flight Girls. It's one of my favorite historical fiction, historical romance books like ever. This one, I don't think it's gonna have a romance subplot like The Flight Girls did. And I also will say, in the time since I've read The Flight Girls, I definitely read a lot less traditional historical fiction than I used to. So I think that's part of why I just haven't read this book yet, because it's not quite my vibe anymore. This one is, again, a World War II historical fiction. It's set in the Netherlands, and it follows 2 teenage sisters who are members of the Dutch resistance. I'm not 100% interested in the topic or the synopsis, but I know I like Salazar's writing, at least I have previously, and I want to at least give it a shot. It may end up being a DNF or something, but I want to at least try it because I have the ARC and I want to cross it off my list. The next book on my list is one that I have on audio. It is This Inevitable Ruin, which is book number 7 in the Dungeon Crawler Carl series by Matt Dinneman. If you've been on BookTube for 5 seconds recently, everybody's talking about Dungeon Crawler Carl. It is this comedic video game-esque series where a man and his cat are competing in this underground alien game show. I know that sounds crazy, but that is the synopsis. And I am on book 7 of the series. Book 8 comes out very soon. It comes out in May, I believe. So I need to catch up. I'm finally doing it. I finished book 6 back in November, and I had been doing the series pretty much in order, keeping a really good pace. And then I decided to pause. I think, first of all, I just didn't want to get too burnt out. And I also felt like once I listened to book 7, that's all I have for now. It's the sort of thing where I love it so much that I want to savor it, and I don't want to catch up too quickly because then I have to wait so long for the next one. So I saved this one a little bit, but it is time because I think I am going to want to listen to the new book as soon as it comes out in May. And the last book on the list is a total random pick. I don't own it. It doesn't count towards any sort of challenge. I just have really been wanting to read another book by Max Porter. I previously read or listened to on audio, which I totally recommend if you want to read this book, doing it on audio, his book Lanny, and it was a weird little book. Capital W, capital L, capital B. It is a weird little book, and I loved it. It was very magical realism, folk tale, almost sort of horror-y, literary. It was just a good time. I love that sort of book. I'm kind of in the mood for a sort of book like that right now. So I feel like it's a safe bet to read another Max Porter. The one that I have picked is Grief is the Thing with Feathers. I don't know what this book is about. I couldn't tell you a single thing about it. There's a bird on the cover and it says the word grief. So I'm thinking probably sad. I'm thinking probably weird. I don't know. We're going to vibe. We're going to find out. Normally, I'm really careful about reading a lot about books before I read them because I want a decent amount of information. I don't want to pick up books that I don't think I'm going to enjoy. So I usually do a fair amount of research. But when it comes to an author that I have previously read and given a 5-star, they get a certain amount of trust from me. I put my reading fate in your capable hands. So that's why several of the books on this list, I'm like, I don't know. I couldn't tell you anything what it's about, but I'm excited to read it. So that is the TBR. I am so excited about this month. I legitimately am looking at this list. I feel confident that at least half of these 10 could be 5 stars. That would be crazy if I had a reading month where half of everything that I read was a 5-star read. I would like that very, very much. The reading year has been going great, but I want to take it up a notch. I want to have my best reading month ever. So let me know if you've read any of these books or are interested in reading any of these books. What are you planning on reading in March? Let's all just have our best reading month ever. That would be so fun. Happy reading!